Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of On the Couch, where we dive into financial literacy, about being a mortgage agent, entrepreneurship, and specific topics. And sometimes we got guests. Today, Danny and I are going to talk about a specific topic.
Are you now? But before we do, there's a few things that we have to just attend to right now.
It's one game.
Danny, you know what my two favorite numbers are? 6 and 1. Is it a coincidence, right?
Yeah, because it equals natural 7, and we talk about 770. That's
Oh,
why.
that's perfect. Danny, let's just quickly talk about the beautiful city of Toronto that we're in.
You can't. I can see it in his eyes. Leave us alone.
Danny, were you there? Were you at the game? What a soundbite.
Yeah, we're going to put crickets in this. Oh, my God.
So talk to me, gentlemen, about what is the topic of interest today?
This show is not about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, it's
That's
not.
right.
So, but here's the segue. See, we are used to this because we've been doing this for, 40 years watching the Leafs. What about the Boomers? They've been watching it for how long? Oh, no, it's not about Boomers. I apologize. That's the next episode. Son of a...
Oh, it's okay. Oh, there you go.
But it would have been a perfect segue for that one. Right?
So what are we talking about today, Johnny?
Danny is a master at finding solutions. Like I said this on another podcast. Danny figures it out before you figure it out. That's the nice thing about Danny. Even though like you might have a problem and you bring it up to Danny, Danny won't say anything for 6 days, but then he'll come back to you and he'll have the solution all mapped out and it's there. So Danny's been working on a project for 30 seconds. Sometimes it feels like 30 seconds when it's like long. So he's got, I don't know. I'm gonna let Danny talk about it. I mean, why are you asking me, Danny? What are we talking about today?
Well, I mean, we've been putting together a program called the One Home Away.
One Home Away.
Yeah. So we built a whole website around it. It is a strategy to do one of three things, and that is to have your primary mortgage paid off in half the time. Build retirement, like build for your retirement.
Yep.
Or just keep building wealth. Using the same strategy over and over again.
And what's the goal? What's the outcome? Like, what are we trying to accomplish for people?
So we want to show people that there are other ways using the equity in their current property, primary home,
Yep.
and how to accomplish one of these three things.
So One Home Away, the idea is to use the equity to invest.
Use the equity to invest in buying a rental property, right?
And use the rental property.
Have your renters paid on your mortgage.
Yep.
Right? Which then eventually builds equity in the property. When you add inflation to the growth in the property,
Yep.
After a certain period of time, you could either sell the property, be mortgage free on your primary home, right? You could keep the property, let it pay itself out. Now you have another source of income for retirement.
So many homeowners that have the untapped equity, I'm reading my notes, by the way, because this has obviously been something that you've been working on. I haven't really paid too much. Obviously, refinancing, tapping your equity, but I like reading my notes, so I'm going to do that. So if anybody watching, I take notes and then I read them. So tapping your equity, refinancing so they can access equity without selling their home. And this serves as a down payment so they can buy the next property in one way.
Yep.
They can, in the end, sell the rental property and use those proceeds to pay off their primary.
Exactly.
And then or keep the rental and let the rental income support their retirement.
Yep.
That's another option. And refinance and reinvest repeatedly to build long-term growth. So you can continuously do that, whether you use your primary. There's lots of like I want to be like, let's just be frank. Ontario is rich. Do you agree?
Yeah. This country is actually rich. So our parents' generation has become very rich
Yes.
just because of what's happened in our market.
Well, you have 120% growth in,
Yeah.
in like 3 years. It was crazy. So the
So-
yield return or the ROI return on your primary residence is huge.
100%.
So now here's a way to tap into that equity without having to, I don't know, sell it or downsize and go into another property and build wealth.
Exactly.
So what's the leverage? Like what's
So go on.
yeah, so what's the leverage? Like you're going to use the existing equity to grow a portfolio without having to need an actual down payment. You're not taking money from RSPs.
Exactly.
You're not selling your stocks, bonds, or mutual funds to pay the capital gains.
Right. It is tax-free income that you have,
Yep.
or tax-free money that you're able to refinance out of your current property, right? And use it to purchase a rental property,
And then what's the benefits of having the tenants? The tenants are obviously effectively paying.
paying down your mortgage. Now, I know people that are listening to this right now, and if you're listening to the market, you're saying rent isn't covering all these costs at the moment, right?
But I do have something to combat that. But go, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring that up. Let's see. I want to hear it.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no, you can't, numbers don't lie.
Yeah. So I mean, so whoever's listening to this podcast is either you're a possible investor, or you don't even like this theory, or you're a mortgage broker that's saying, you know what, in the last 3-4 years, man, we aren't doing any refinances,
Yeah. Or you're taking
and
a lot.
we're not doing any refinances for anybody that wants to buy other properties.
But now is probably the best time to do this.
Okay, fair, because maybe the market's down.
The market's down. It might go down a little bit more. From all the events we've been going to, listen to all these economists, we're seeing the long-term yield on fixed rates. They say between 3 and 5 years is going to be higher than where it currently is now.
Yep.
And if you look at any rate sheet, the 3 year is lower than a 5 year.
Okay.
That says a lot of things.
So that being said, the market will either stay the same or slightly get a little bit worse. I mean, rates anyways, which might make it harder for the investor to actually purchase, actually refinance and purchase a second property for rental.
Can I ask, is this just for foreign property or for local property?
Local property.
This is local. 100%.
So the idea behind this is you've got a house that has tons of equity. Lots of people are sitting on 50, 60, even 70% equity. There's a lot of people low loan to values on the property. You can go in and get a line of credit, use that money, and go and buy a rental property. Get a tenant
if you want to do, yep.
if you want to do that. But now to offset what we're talking about is, well, rent is not going to cover the cost and you're going to have a shortfall.
Now you're going to have a shortfall.
Yes.
And a lot of people's like, well, that's going to put me in trouble.
Yes.
Because I'm going to need to come up with shortfall. Well, what if I told you there's a way to get that shortfall covered?
Yes. That's what I want. So that's
How, Danny?
Eh?
How?
How?
yeah. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. So Danny's been working on this. Not working on this, but there is a way.
There is a way to make rental income
Taxable benefit.
tax deductible. If you structure everything proper. So you got to structure all the moving parts all properly. You're working with a good mortgage broker, obviously, that knows how to do what's called rental cash damming. And then you have a
Hold on. Say that word again.
rental cash damming.
Say it louder.
Rental cash damming.
Rental cash.
What
damming.
in the world is that?
So it's a real thing.
Yeah. It's turning your I guess turning your rental income into I'm driving blank right now.
A tax benefit.
Into tax deductible income, so that the government will actually create tax deductible income on your tax returns.
So it turns, again, I'm just reading notes from what I wrote down. So this tactic turns mortgage interest into a deductible business expense, improving your cash flow, and potentially turning a small monthly loss into a break even or even a possible return after tax refunds.
Right.
if it's set up properly.
If it has to be set up properly.
It has to be set up properly.
It
So
has to
there's
be
a
set
there's
up
a specific system that you have to do to get this to work.
So how I came up with this whole and looked for this whole strategy. I'm a investor which have gone through the whole motions of, using my primary home, following the strategy, buying a rental home. It was great at first. Rates skyrocketed. My renewal came up. I'm sitting there. And now I'm in the negative every month. And I'm wondering, wow, I got my wife's like, this is getting hard. Should we sell this property? I'm like, there's no way we're going to sell this property. We'll just keep up. But, still making it hard. So now we discovered this. And running through the calculator that we've put together, I've realized that over the time period of paying off my primary home, the government will give me back $136,000. Now, you do that calculation and tell me if that covers your negative cash flow for the month or every month.
Okay. Can I speak on the behalf of everyone watching this and saying to you, how is this even possible?
Yeah. So again, how is it possible? It's totally legal. You're not doing anything that is not legal, right?
Yep.
You just need to structure the moving components properly. And obviously you need to work with an accountant that understands the tax, how to do their taxes properly, how to do your personal taxes properly. But it needs to be structured properly on our end. That's where the mortgage brokers is key. So I've been talking to a whole bunch of accountants, and some accountants are like, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And other accountants are like, yeah, 100%. But they can't coach that because there's way too many moving parts. And unless they're working with a mortgage broker, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Danny, I've never heard this before in my entire life. Why is it that all of a sudden this sounds like it's a brand new revolutionary thing?
It's not. It's been around for a long time.
It's been around for a long time. It's just...
So some people would think of this as being called the Smith maneuver, which is a totally different tactic, correct?
What is that?
This is using the Smith maneuver tactic and putting it into the rental property.
Yeah. So
What does that mean, Johnny?
So the Smith maneuver tactic is utilizing the, so it's depreciating the interest. You can do this in many effects. You can do it with the cars, the interest, right? That you can use the interest as am I saying that right?
I'm not. You have to be certified, and I'm truly. That's my next strategy to go after, but I don't have that.
Certified in what, Danny?
Being a what's it called?
What's it called, Johnny?
So the Smith maneuver is a Canadian tax strategy. So hold on a second. I'm not certified in this stuff. I don't. Hold on a second.
let me say it one more time, Danny. Is this legal?
100% legal.
Because it sounds like it's too good to be true.
No,
So so the Smith
legal.
maneuver is a Canadian tax strategy that helps homeowners convert their non-deductible mortgage debt into tax-deductible investment debt, while simultaneously building wealth over time. So how it works, you start with a re-advanced mortgage, this mortgage product that has both a mortgage portion and a line of credit. So you have to have a HELOC attached to the line to your thing.
Same thing with the rental.
Yeah.
We would need to structure your portfolio. So your primary home would need a line of credit. That's the only way to make it work. It would have to be readvanceable. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but it would most likely eventually have to be it, or else you're going to max it out at some point.
Yeah. So then you make regular monthly mortgage payments. Each payment reduces your monthly principal, of course, which is normal. And then the amount that you pay towards principal becomes instantly available in the HELOC because it's on a step product. So and then you borrow from the HELOC to pay down the rest. Like it's a whole system. You really need a budget sheet. You need a graph in front of you. You need numbers and a calculator to really figure this out for someone. But inside the cash damming and the one home away, the whole idea in like simple terms is it's what people have been doing to build wealth in this I don't know, for generations. People have been doing it for generations. Now there's just ways for the rich to get richer. And when you're utilizing the system, you can offset the cost of borrowing in a down market. But what does somebody do in the meantime when, so at the end of the month, they have a shortfall? Is it still coming from their pocket, even though they know they're going to?
So temporarily it's going to be coming from their pocket,
Yeah.
or you can use your line of credit to cover the shortfall. But when you do your taxes, you'll get your tax refund.
So here's the real reason. The ROI potential on the rental property over the last few decades has been stronger than GICs and mutual funds, stocks, and maybe most mediocre stuff. Like you put it in savings, there's no growth. So while if there is a shortfall, would you advise a client to remove the money from investments like putting into GICs and mutual funds that might yield a modest 6 to 8% return over over decades, right? We're talking decades. This is long-term investing, right? It's not a short-term thing. This is long-term. So leveraging your home equity to invest in real estate can push your returns higher. Real estate not only appreciates a lot quicker over time, right? And we're not talking about the 120% from the last 4 years. We're talking 9 to 10
to 90s, 80s, or whatever the case
so
is.
long-term growth, 15 years we're talking, right? So if you're 45 right now and you're talking about retiring when you're 60, you got 20 more years to plan. So you do something like this. If there is a shortfall in the meantime, you take the money that you are saving, the $300, $400, $500 a month that you're putting towards a GIC or mutual funds, you would put that shortfall towards this because the yield, the return, your ROI will be significantly higher because not only do you have somebody paying down your principal reduction, but you've got the market, obviously, in the long term, the curve is going to go up on the return on the investment, I guess you call it, right? So the tangible asset growth. Investing in real estate means putting your money into tangible assets. Unlike GICs, you can control the house. The GICs you can't control, which is the big deal. Make sense, Stefano?
So I want to go back to my personal story of owning a rental property. And yes, currently we are in the negative. Rates have gone up. My mortgage payment's gone higher. Maintenance has gone up. Everything has gone up.
Yeah.
Right? Rent is not caught up to what all these costs are.
As a matter of fact, rent is coming back down again.
It's starting to come back. Rent is starting to come back down.
It is,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's
The
still
market
not
rent
covering.
analysis are
But
coming
but
lower.
it's still not coming. It's still not covering.
No.
Right? And now it's like, again, my wife's all over me. Like, every month, Danny, we should really think about possibly selling this. I mean, my mentality and her mentality are totally different. I'm thinking future. She's thinking today. And it's fine. If we were to sell it today, I mean, our primary mortgage pretty much gone. Or I can sit around, wait a couple more years, and use the one home away strategy
And get another property.
Well, I'm just saying the first part. I could wait a couple more years. The equity can grow a little bit more on that property because I'm paying that off a little bit more, and I'm paying off my primary, and then I can be mortgage free. So that or I can hold it when my wife doesn't really want to do because I'm thinking about retirement, and I could create income for my retirement, not worry about some sort of pension. That can be sort of a pension, or I can keep doing the one home away strategy, keep flipping it, and keep setting myself up for cash deductible income from the government over year in returns.
It's absolutely wild. This is wild. You know that, right? You're going to get a lot of feedback from this, and people are going to say, how come I've never heard this before? What's the catch?
You'll start hearing about it a lot more. We can promise you that. It won't be just from us, but you need to know somebody who is, first of all, obsessed, right? Because you need to be obsessed with understanding the system and the process and how to utilize the system, number one. Number two, you have to have, like, if you ever look back and you talk to people that are extremely successful and you ask them, give me what's the one word, like there's that guy on TikTok or wherever it is, what's the one word thing, what's the one advice you would give somebody? First of all, you got to have a good lawyer and a good accountant, and you need a good mortgage broker.
Yeah, those are the three.
You need those three people in your life. You need to have them on speed dial.
Yeah.
If you can't call those three people and have them answer the phone to answer your questions,
You're in
not
trouble.
you're not where you need to be.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, not in trouble. It's just Maybe you're not, and it's okay not to think that way. There's nothing wrong with not investing in real estate. There's absolutely nothing wrong. But if it's in your mind and you know that you want to do it, I would say from the beginning, set it up properly, have a talk with Danny, and utilize the systems and the processes and the right people to help you get there.
Yeah, and I definitely have all the right people in place
And the experience, you're doing
and
it.
experience. Obviously, I'm doing it myself. I know it's going to work. I have the accountants. If you don't have an accountant that understands
Yep.
this theory on, I have lawyers that are going to make sure that everything flows properly if needed. I got everything in place. I know how to restructure your entire portfolio, and maybe your portfolio might not need to be restructured at all. Maybe you just need some consulting on how to make these parts moving properly, setting everything up just so that everything moves properly.
Over
And
the
yes,
last,
there is a little bit of work to it.
yeah.
You know, right now you probably have a rental property at home, and you currently grab that income that comes in from the rental property and you pay off the rental property mortgage. Fine, but you're not creating this tax deductible debt income.
There's
That's it.
more, there's more
Yeah.
benefits
Wow.
that are available.
All we have to do is make that income go somewhere else, move some things around. Nothing's changed. It's going to take 5 minutes of your time every month. And all of a sudden, you can be getting up to, I don't know. I know at some points I can be getting about 10 to 11,000 back from the government at the end of the year.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
So hold on a second. I'll tell you what everyone's going to ask you guys as soon as this episode airs. But Danny, Johnny, how come all realtors are saying right now is a horrible time to invest?
Yeah.
Horrible time.
Small-minded people do small-minded things. It might be the wrong realtor giving you the wrong info. They're not looking at the long picture. They're not looking at history. They're not looking at the yields and where we're going. Yeah, we're at a low. We're definitely at a low. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know, man. History's there. It's there. Unless the market's not going to crash. The real estate market won't crash. I think this is the low. We're at the low. It might go a little bit lower. Rates at 4% are not terrible.
No.
I just think the lifestyles are a little different and a little bit more, and we want more. But
Can this be applied for outside of the GTA, such as Muskoka, Innisfil, Barrie,
100%.
Guys, this can be applied anywhere.
Cottage Country, all
This
that?
could be anywhere in Canada. You can apply.
Anywhere in Canada.
Everybody's like, oh, where do you make investment?
It's an investment property. You choose.
I don't want
where
to see
you wanna
people's names,
find
but I know
rentals,
of
but-
somebody who is in Sault Ste. Marie buying properties. Am I saying it right? Sault Ste. Marie?
Well, I have my brother that
Yeah,
has.
beside Timmins
My
there.
brother has about 10 plus properties in Thunder Bay.
That's where it is. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Thunder
And
Bay.
now we're
Okay.
applying this strategy on my brother's old properties right now.
And how's that been going?
Well,
How's that been going?
we're currently in the process of doing that right now.
Wonderful.
So
There's lots of people that have multiple rentals. I have a whole credenza with files with people with multiple homes, there's multiple properties on one file.
Yeah.
Like,
and what's great about this strategy is not only could we help the current people with a rental, they might not even need to restructure their mortgages.
no, you just
So
got
all
to
they
move money
just
around.
yeah, we just got to teach them how to move money around first. So that's one. So for mortgage brokers, great opportunity to
Have a reason to call.
have a reason to have a conversation with these clients.
Yeah.
Second, realtors, we have an opportunity for you guys to make some sales right now,
Sure.
right? Start looking into clients that have one property, and maybe I can encourage them to start buying the second.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Very
know?
smart.
Like, if you're a realtor, and you want to go out there and get business, I would be working with a finance department that works for you, like us, and we can talk to clients that might be a lead, and we could utilize equity to buy another property. Wow, isn't that genius?
So, guys, there's a lot of information to take away from here. Give me your closing thoughts on this. If people are afraid to invest, what are your closing thoughts on this?
I'm going to say a 10-minute phone call
I was gonna say
a 10-minute phone call could make you understand or see things a little bit differently.
ask
I have
questions.
the calculators that will show whether the strategy will work for you.
Yeah,
It might
so-
not work for everybody.
No, but I would exactly. I would touch on that and say, ask the questions, but ask the right people the questions. Don't go ask your neighbor Bob, who's in the garage, who drinks beers. Don't go ask him. Go ask somebody who's either doing it or has done it, because that's where the advice needs to come from.
I also want to bring up, with this strategy, I could apply this rental cash damming strategy on basement rentals. So you don't actually need to have a second property.
You just have to have a
investment.
rental.
If you have a
Wow.
basement rental, well, I can apply this
That's
strategy on there.
huge.
So
Really?
now, not only is your basement rental helping to pay off your mortgage, which most people are using the income for, now we can have tax deductible income to speed that process up.
That's huge. Okay, I have to talk to you guys after the episode for this.
So
Guys,
It's a very big thing. It's going to become popular. We're ahead of the curve on this
we're
because
ahead of the curve. It's a small niche.
Yeah.
No one's really doing it. Mortgage brokers, there's a very small amount of mortgage brokers that know how to actually apply this strategy in theory. And there's also a very small amount of accountants that actually know how to apply this theory.
And
So it's important.
You need both those people.
You need both.
You need
yeah.
both.
well, gentlemen, let's
Guys, do not call Johnny Supa. Call Danny Cardozo, because this is not my niche. I focus on different stuff, but Danny understands this. This is his world. He's done it for himself and many others. And a lot of your portfolio is actually a lot of clients with many. That's Danny's portfolio is clients that have multiple rentals. Like, there's people that have spreadsheets on 20, 30. It's crazy. So, and there's a lot of you guys are out there that have multiple units or even basement rentals.
Yep.
Have the 5 to 10 minute conversation. This isn't a sales tactic. It's a way to help. Right?
And
This isn't a sales tactic.
if people had to get a hold of you, Danny, to find you and give you some, hey, what can I do? Where can I find you?
Yeah, so my suggestion is, my calendar is getting really booked up real quick since I've been starting to speak to. So now the more clients I've helped out, they're spreading the word,
Well, because they're like-minded people hanging around with like-minded people.
right? And I'm getting really busy. Send me an email, mortgages@dannycardozo.ca. Yes, my phone number is 416-882-4172, as always, but the email would be the best way to currently get a hold with me. I'll reply with my calendar link where you can book some time in my calendar.
Beautiful. And Johnny,
Yeah, you can reach Danny at mortgages. You could reach me at johnny@yournesta.ca, or you can visit us here at our headquarters at 12 Par Boulevard in Bolton. Or DM us on Instagram, Your Nesta Financial. You can find Danny Cardozo on Instagram. We're very, very accessible, guys. We're very available. And yes, it's getting busy again, which is great.
and don't forget, On the Couch Podcast 23.
Yeah, on all streaming platforms. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, share the show, save it, tag a friend, make a comment down below if there's something that you want us to really dive into. If there's something that we might have missed or might have missaid, maybe, let us know. We're human, but we want to share this information. We want to let your friends know it's important. That's what we're here for, to educate. So if you like what you hear and you like what we're saying, share the show so we can grow.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. Until next time.
See you later.
See you. That was good.